What if I told you that somewhere on the other side of the world, right now, an American is waking up in a quiet apartment? No alarms screaming, no traffic rage, no inbox anxiety. They step outside. They eat breakfast for $2. They ride across the city for $1. And when the month ends, their total cost of living is less than what you paid for groceries last week. Not survival, not charity, not a loophole, just life. The number that makes Americans freeze when they hear it is this: $500 a month. In Vietnam, it sounds impossible. It sounds fake. Or worse, it sounds like something you're not supposed to think about too deeply. Because if it's true, then the real question isn't about Vietnam. It's about your life. If you're watching this from the United States, you don't need statistics. You feel it. You feel it at the grocery store, where the total keeps climbing, even though the cart looks the same. You feel it when rent goes up again, with no explanation, no improvement, no apology. You feel it when your paycheck hits your account and disappears like water through your fingers. For decades, Americans were told a simple story: work hard, get educated, move up, and life will get easier. But for millions of people, the opposite happened. They worked harder, they earned more, and life still felt tighter. Healthcare became a gamble, housing became a choke point, and even people earning $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year started asking a question their parents never had to ask. Why does this still feel impossible? That's when the whispers started. Not headlines, not speeches, just comments under videos, quiet posts in forums. I left. I couldn't do it anymore. I moved abroad, and one country kept appearing again and again: Vietnam. For most Americans, Vietnam exists in two places: history books and war movies. But modern Vietnam is something else entirely. It's young, fast, hungry. More than 60% of the population is under 35. Cities buzz with movement. Sidewalks are alive with food, conversation, and motion. And over the last decade, something unexpected happened. Americans arrived, not tourists. People who stayed, remote workers, veterans, early retirees, burned-out professionals, not chasing luxury, chasing relief. Vietnam offered something the U.S. no longer reliably does: a life where money isn't the main character in every decision. But the claim that pulls people in is always the same: you can live here on $500 a month. So let's stop romanticizing. Let's test it. In the United States, housing is the monster. It doesn't matter how disciplined you are. If rent eats half your income, the math never works. So Americans assume cheap housing abroad must mean something terrible: unsafe, dirty, temporary. But here's what $250 to $350 a month looks like in Vietnam: a private studio, a real bed, a private bathroom, air conditioning, a lock on the door. Not luxury, but dignity. No dishwasher, no dryer, no extra space for stuff you don't need. Electricity, water, trash, internet, another $20 to $40. And something subtle happens. When housing stops threatening you every month, your shoulders drop. This is the first psychological shift. In America, cheap food usually means bad food: processed, frozen, designed to keep you full, not healthy. Vietnam is the opposite. Cheap food here is fresh food. Every morning, markets reset. Vegetables arrive from nearby farms. Meals are cooked the same day they're sold. A bowl of faux broth simmered for hours. Herbs, noodles, meat costs $1.50 to $2.50. And this isn't poor food. It's everyone food. Office workers eat it. Students eat it. Business owners eat it. Eating out isn't indulgent. It's normal. Monthly food costs $150 to $200. And Americans notice something strange. They feel better. They crash less. They lose weight without trying. Food stops being a coping mechanism and becomes fuel again. In the US, just existing is expensive. Gas, insurance, parking, maintenance, time. In Vietnam, movement is light. Motorbikes, ride-hailing apps. A ride across the city costs less than a cup of coffee back home. Phone plan with unlimited data, set to $1 to $10. Laundry, someone else washes, dries, and folds your clothes for about $10 a month. And here's what Americans don't expect. You stop spending money just to survive stress. No $dollar coffees. No impulse shopping. No constant convenience fees. Because life itself feels lighter. This is where Americans expect the catch. There isn't one. Doctor visit? $15 to $30. Dental cleaning? $20 to $40. No insurance maze. No billing surprises months later. Private hospitals exist. English-speaking doctors exist. Healthcare is treated like a service, not a punishment. For many Americans, this is the most emotional realization. They didn't know how much anxiety they carried until it vanished. Let's be honest. Rent plus utilities, $300. Food, $180. Transport and phone, $40. Miscellaneous, $30. Total, 5 cents 50. Can it be done on $500? Yes, with discipline. Is it luxurious? No. Is it possible? Absolutely. But here's the twist. Most people don't stay at $500. Not because they have to leave, because life feels worth spending on again. At some point, every American expat has the same moment. They're sitting in a cafe, laptop open, coffee melting slowly in the heat, and it hits them. I'm not rushing. Back home, even rest feels scheduled. In America, you don't just live. You manage risk, rent risk, medical risk, career risk. Vietnam feels different not because it's perfect, but because the baseline is lower, and that changes everything. The first thing Americans miss isn't Target, or Amazon, or fast food. They miss effortless belonging, speaking without thinking, joking without explaining. Every interaction abroad costs a little energy. You smile more. You simplify yourself. It's not bad, but it's work. They also miss family time they can't rebuy. Birthdays become video calls. Emergencies become flights you hope you never need. No budget includes that cost. One day, the novelty fades. Vietnam stops being a destination and becomes a mirror. You didn't escape yourself. You brought yourself with you. This is where some people grow. Others leave. Quietly. Visas expire. Rules change. Time is never fully yours. Aging abroad is different. You start thinking about emergencies, language, advocacy, trust, and then there's income. Remote work disappears. Markets shift. Savings shrink. Living cheap helps, but it doesn't protect you from uncertainty. Isolation hits harder abroad. There's no quiet safety net. Some Americans feel guilt, living well for less, while friends back home struggle. They edit themselves on calls. They stop sharing details. Freedom creates distance. Eventually, everyone reaches it. Stay and become someone new, or leave and see home differently forever. Either way, you don't go back to who you were. This life is not for the desperate. It's for the curious. Not for those who need control, but for those who value time over status. This isn't a hack. It's a trade. Convenience for freedom. Familiarity for perspective. So, can you live in Vietnam on $500 a month? Yes, but the real question is this. If a peaceful life is possible for less somewhere else, what is keeping you exactly where you are? Fear? Comfort? Responsibility? There's no wrong answer. But there is a cost to never asking. Vietnam doesn't promise a better life. It offers a different one, and sometimes, different is all you need to finally see clearly. If this video made you uncomfortable, good. That means it did its job. Subscribe for stories that don't sell fantasies. They reveal realities. Because the most expensive decision is never the one you make. It's the one you never question. You're watching Money and Economic Currents. See you in the next video.